the registration and then you pay the entire amount, right? So what we need to do is, in fact, we need to have multiple payments attached to an attendee, correct? So what we'll have is, we'll have more than one payment associated with one attendee. Okay. So this payment should be associated with the attendee, okay, which attendee's payment. So there will be a payment ID, payment date, amount, okay, and we will make an attendee in here. So this payment comes from which attendee? Makes life easier. So if you have two payments from the same attendee, you should create two records for the attendee there. Got it? So that is what we have to do. All right. Payment can be associated, and in attendee we can have one more field called status. So this can be a pick list, whether confirmed or not.
That is payment confirmed or not? Is it payment confirmed or not, Jit?
Hello. Okay, sorry. Yeah, that's payment. You know, the attendee is confirmed or not because of the payment. Absolutely correct. So if there is a payment linked to this attendee, then only it will automatically become confirmed that the attendee is confirmed. Okay. Sometimes it happens. Let's say Nikhil says that I will come and attend this training program. Okay. He has given a verbal confirmation, but we do not take that verbal confirmation till the time he has not made a payment. So for my convenience, I just want him to add as an attendee so that we can see that all people are interested in that particular training program. But we also need to have that payment confirmation thing done for the attendee, right? So that the day when he is entering that training room, the trainer can actually, or not exactly the trainer, you know, whoever is the facilitator there, can quickly check and confirm that, okay, fine, these are the attendees who are confirmed for this. Clear on that part?
What about that, we discussed one more field, right? Paid in candidate.
Yeah, there is no problem with that field because, you know, here probably, you know, we have like, you know, in class they'll come and pay. Then first it goes to paid, and then, you know, here we can confirm. The final authority would be with the Salesforce end user in order to confirm. If, let's say, like, you know, he gave a deposit, then, you know, we can search them in the attendees, and then, you know, we can confirm probably.
Basically, you know, I also feel that, I mean, once we have this thing here, status payment
because
we might,
because as far as I remember, when we came to mode in training program, online or class, that's when we took paid field in candidate. So depending on that mode only, we have taken payment paid or not here in candidate. So we need not have paid checkbox here. I feel, I don't know.
I am also, you know, in consensus with what Ravali is saying, because we are tracking this thing here, we might not want this thing to be available here as well.
Because why should we have?
For example, if I am selling laptops, okay, and I have a customer, he purchased a laptop this month. Next month he is again, you know, purchasing a laptop. The same customer, okay, he might come to me for buying two laptops, one in this month. So you are interested in knowing whether he has paid for that transaction or not, right? So which I am tracking here. So for a certain training, when he enrolled, for a certain training program this candidate has enrolled, whether he has made the payment for that or not. We are interested in that. Overall, whether that day has paid or not, I think this is not that important. I mean, this is something that we will not need. And in fact, having this checkbox can be misleading also. Now think about it. Let's say Ravi Teja enrolled for Java training program 6 months back. This will show paid because he paid 6 months back. Now he is actually trying to enroll for another training program which is let's say Android. So this information can be a little misleading also. So I think.
And suppose say for Android he did not pay.
Right, that is what I am saying. That for Android if he has not paid, but still is under this it will show that he has paid. So that will confuse us. So I think remove that. That will be good.
Exactly. Nice, sir. Yep.
So you mean to say the ID from the payment object is a lookup from the ID from attendees?
Yes. No, not that ID.
Okay.
No, not this ID. This is the lookup. This is the lookup from attendee. ID is going to be unique for payment also, right? For this also, ID is going to be unique. Got that thing? Huh?
Oh, okay.
So like
Okay.
a transaction ID, the way you make a payment and there's a transaction ID generated, the same way this will be an auto-generated thing. All right. So we have tracked quite a few things. Now there is one more thing which we will need to have here. Okay. Okay, what else do we need? We have tracked the trainers, we have done the training modules, leads, training programs, attendees, payments. Anything else that you think we require? Overall, this process is being handled by the trainers, so suppliers are the trainers. Training module is the product that we are selling. Client side, we are covering leads and candidates. Training programs, we are tracking, and that is there.
What is the minimum and maximum number of attendees for one training program?
I think this is something which you mentioned, right? Capacity numbers.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Okay, so now let's try and put some more business logics here. So from our thought point of view, this is capacity. Okay, so let's say there is a training program. Your total capacity is 50. Okay. Now, don't you want an automated process to go and calculate that number of attendees? The moment you see that number of attendees has reached 50, it should not take any more attendees for the same training program, right? That is one thing that we want to do.
Why, Jeet, if they have more number, then maybe they will take, but they will divide the number of sessions maybe.
And functionally talking, that's correct. If someone is coming and enrolling, we should not say no. But what I'm trying to say is, I'm trying to talk about a technical requirement. Let's assume that they are talking about this thing that okay, if I have 50 as the number of registrants or attendees, the moment we exceed 50, we should get to know how many people actually the moment you're typing capacity, you also have to look into number of attendees.
Okay.
Fine. So that we are keeping a track on okay, fine, how many people have enrolled for that training. Definitely you can go and count, but counting is not a good option, right? So what we are going to do is we are going to put a roll-up summary here. So roll-up summary is a field which actually summarizes the child record. Now what is happening? Attendee is the child of training program, right? See, training program is the parent and attendee is the child, right? Under one training program I have multiple attendees, right? So when you have a parent child kind of a relationship, you can use a field which is called roll up summary. Okay, so roll up summary can be used for summarizing the child records onto the parent. Got that thing? So this is something which can be done. All right.
What is parent? What is parent here?
Training program is a parent. One training program can have multiple attendees. So this is the parent.
Okay.
Like if you talk about a department in a company and the employees in the department. So department is the parent and the employees working in that department are all child. Okay, so one department can have multiple child. Same way, one training program can have multiple attendees. Okay, so whenever you have this kind of a parent-child relationship, you can put a roll-up summary field on the roll-up summary field will automatically sum up the child and put it in the parent.
So you mean to say if like 10 members have paid, it will show 40 seats available over there, sir?
No, 10 people have paid, it will show 10 here. Okay.
Or 10 over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want, you can have one more like availability, and this you can put as a formula. So that formula
Maybe
can
here,
be.
here it will show 40.
Here you can put a formula and say that okay, this formula equals to capacity minus number of attendees. Fine. So depending on our requirement, we can put all these things. Okay. So these are all technical specs that we are talking about, which can be done, which Salesforce can actually help us in enhancing the application. Right. So that's good. I will take this also. Okay, I'll keep the availability also.
It's getting interesting, sir. I mean,
Yeah, this is getting interesting, and it will become more interesting the moment you start designing this into the Salesforce thing. All right. So let's do one thing. Let us start designing it. All right. And before we get into designing this inside Salesforce, I'm just going to do a small thing. We'll quickly fix the data type for everything. We have to fix the data type for everything here, right? So ID should be, ID is always an auto number. Okay, so there is a data type called auto number, and I'm going to use that auto number thing here for ID for everything. Okay, first name, last name will be text. So why we are working on the data type right now, so that you don't spend a lot of time while designing, you're actually creating. Okay, so this is basically the map of what you want to design, okay, what you are going to create in Salesforce. So when you have this thing in hand, your entire job becomes easier. After that, it's just a matter of just a few clicks. All right. So data type here will be email. You guys can keep on telling me if you know what data type skill set should have. Here I want your suggestion. Expected salary.
Long text for skill set.
double
Skill set, long text. Okay. All right. Okay, there is one more thing which is called a multi-pick list. So we can either use a multi-pick list or a long text, whatever we feel like. Okay, so we'll just go there and while creating we'll decide on this. City should be what? Should we make it pick list or should we make it text? See, city, state, country can be pick list, can be text.
We will do that field dependency here.
So this will be a pick list.
country should be auto pop-up, right?
Sorry.
That's what.
Country should be lookup.
No, country will be a pick list. So let's say you are dealing, having your training programs in US and Canada. So those two countries will come. The moment you select US, you will see the US states, and then the moment you select the state, you will see the cities from that state. So this will be a pick list, and this will be dependent pick list. State will be dependent on country, and city will be dependent on state.
And the availability can be checkbox, right?
Yeah, it can be checkbox, but in that availability, we also have to, put something where we are defining what times they are available. Okay, so this availability thing, we will talk about this. I'm just keeping it as a gray area. I'm just going to pen. We'll put most of the thing, and even the expected salary, how to track that part. I think this is something that we'll discuss a little later. The simple ones let's do first, so that we have some structure of our application. Modules duration will be
Number of days.
days. So this is going to be a number. Lead or candidate can be so this will be text, email, phone, the same thing. Preferences can be long text. Number. This will be a date field, this will be a currency field. Okay. Venue will be again long text. Yeah. Timing will be text. Yeah.
Jeet, as far as I remember, there is one more field which we took in candidate, which is called interest. Module he wants to take.
Module.
I think you missed it.
It's here.
A module he wants to take something. You said something like interest.
Yeah. So this is here. It is module. So it's a lookup from the module.
Okay.
Sir, instead of, I'm talking about the training program object, we can take date and time, data type, and start date and end date, right? Instead of taking an extra field which is timing.
You're saying here date and time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we do that?
We can do that. The only reason why I was, specific about having one more field called timing, because timings of the training programs differ, right? So this start date, date and time field will allow us to, put a particular time, okay, but it will not allow us to put end time to it. So let's say your trainings are from morning 9 to 6 or from 10 to 7. So this timing thing actually gives us a very clear understanding of, okay, is it 9 to 6 or is it 10 to 7, right? Otherwise what will happen, one time will come here, the other time will come here for the end date. Okay. So this will have a better visibility. For that reason I was particular about this part. Okay. So we have got this thing here. Now we will, okay. Now the next thing that we are going to do is we are just going to work on what all standard objects we can use. Okay. So let's say you are done with this part. Okay. You have thought or you have decided on your application design. Everything is done. Okay, now what you'll have to do, you do not start creating everything custom, right? First of all, we'll see out of all these things what all have been provided by Salesforce. So all the standard object consideration should be here, and then we'll design the custom objects wherever required. Correct? So for this, I think we already have a leads object. We can use that. For module, we have a product. We can use that. So for this, I'm going to use product. So there is a standard object called product. We're going to use that. There's a standard object called lead. I'm going to use that. There is, okay, for training program, there is another object in the standard setup, which is called campaigns. Have you seen that campaign object?
Yeah.
Campaign is usually, I'll just show you why I'm going to use campaign here. Second, let me just log in. Give me 1 minute, let me log in. Okay. So now don't go by the words. See what you are calling it there and what we are calling it here in the standard application. Don't go by the words. Let us look into what is the utility of each and every object that we have here. And if some most of the functionalities are met, then we can simply have the same standard object used for our application. I don't have to go ahead and design different things and all, right? So I already have an object called campaign. Achha. So if you look into this campaign, try to add a new campaign. You'll see the campaign is something which has a start date, end date, okay, parent campaign, description. So most of those things are already here. Status of the campaign, right? So basically what you have to do is you just have to have this campaign in place. You don't have to do anything for this. Got it? So what we can do is I can use my campaign for storing the training programs. If I need a few extra fields, I can create those. If I have like the timings part and all that stuff, right? And for this type thing, I will just remove all these types of campaigns, and I will only include two things here: online trainings and classroom trainings. So if I just do a bit of tweaking, then what happens? I can use the existing campaign table for training programs. Okay, the products that I have that I will use for I'm going to use for the training modules. Okay, leads that I have that I'm going to use the leads for this thing for tracking candidates. Yes. Attendees under campaign, if I create, let's say, Java training March 2015, make it an active thing, save it. So if you create a campaign, you will see that there is something which is called campaign member. Okay. So this campaign member is like an attendee only. Okay. So you can add more campaign members to this. Add members from here. Okay. So you can add more campaign members to this campaign simply by choosing the leads. So the same concept is working out here also. My attendees are coming from the leads. Okay, so same thing I can use. Now trainer is the only thing that trainer and payment. Trainer object is something that I have to track, and payment object is what I have to track. Right? I mean, I have to create. Other 4 objects we have already got. Product can be used for this, training programs can be used for this, leads can be used here, campaign members can be used for attendees. So according to our current requirement, we just have trainers and we have payment options. This is the only difference that we have. And these are the only 2 objects that we have to create. Correct? So let's go ahead and create our application. So we will start with simple stuff. Go to setup, create the application first.
Jit, if at all you have to edit few field labels or names in campaigns and all according to our terminology, how do you do that?
We can change the labels and all that stuff. So not for everything, but yeah, for certain things we'll be able to change the labels. Certain places we'll have to either manage with the standard labels and all, or we'll have to design Visual Force page. So after few sessions we'll get into that programming side of it. We can change every label and everything using the Visual Force. With this declarative approach we have certain limitations, but with the programming side we can do every change required. Correct? So we can design it the way we want. So I'll start with creating an application. So first of all, let me have my training app here. So how will I start going about it? Setup. Then first of all, we create the app, and let's include the objects which are required in that app. So create a new app, call it let's say training app, training sales app. Click on next. We do not have any image. Let's skip that. Okay. So now what I'm going to do in this case, I'm going to allow the objects that I need. Campaigns I need, leads I need, and products I need. So these 3 things I need from here. Apart from this, I don't need anything else. You just click on next and go like that. Make it visible. Okay. So I have got my training sales app here. So I have got campaigns, I have got leads, I have got products. Okay. Now let me go to the setup again. Scroll down, go to customize, and then go to tab names and labels. Okay, rename the tabs and labels. So what I want to do, I want to rename the tabs. Like instead of campaigns, I want to call it training programs. So where is my campaigns tab? Click edit. and make it training programs. Okay. Now, once you have renamed it to training program, do you want to rename the fields available inside that also? So now this is where I can go ahead and make changes on other things also. Okay. So see, instead of campaign name, you can say it a training program name, or you can make it training program ID or whatever. Okay. So see, now you have an option of changing all the field names also.
Sir, why is it saying like starts with vowel sound? What exactly is this, sir? I mean, I see this lot of areas in Salesforce.
Yeah, so it says starts with vowel sound. Some places where Salesforce has to write a line about it. During reports and all, you will see it. So there, if it starts with a vowel sound, then it will write an in front of it, and where it does not start, it will write an a. So that's a simple sense there. Otherwise, it's not that important. Alright. So some reporting stuff and all, sometimes it has to write an account or a account. So that is out. So for their convenience, right?
Okay. Oh my God. That's nice.
So okay. So I'm not changing anything else here. But you can change, see, the labels of all the fields that we are talking about can be changed.
Sir, you said you can't change something. What is that you can't change, sir?
No, see, here we are changing it with the tabs and all those that stuff, right? Sometimes if you just do not want to change the tabs name and all that stuff, still you want to go ahead and rename the field. That is something which can be done on Visual Code. So there is nothing which you cannot do. Almost everything customization we need, we can do. But some things, certain things are possible using the simple drag and drop option. Certain things are possible using our programming approach, right? But we'll be ultimately able to achieve everything.
Okay, sir.
All right. So now this is called training programs. See. Got it. So the same way, instead of products, you can call it trainings or the modules, that sort of thing. Got that? So now let me call it modules. Actually, we are already on the products. Yes. If you just want to reset, you don't have to do anything. You just have to click on this reset. That's it. It will reset it to the default thing. Okay. And while you're changing all this, you're only changing the label. Name is still the same. Okay. We cannot change the names because name is something which is used in the backend programming and everything. So let me not make any changes here. Click on save.
Sir, we can't change the name. What is the name, sir?
Name is the actual name of the object. Okay.
Oh,
Everything has a name and a label. Yeah. Whatever you are changing is the label. It's for people to see. But actually the object remains product. Why it remains the same? Because Salesforce also has written some programming in the backend, right? For that programming, they have used product. So if I change it, that program will not work properly. So for that reason, you cannot go and change name of any existing thing. You can give name, whatever name you want to the object you are creating. but for the ones that were by default, you cannot go and change them. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Now the next thing that we need here is so my training programs is done. All these things is pretty much done. Next thing
Edit leads into candidates, right?
let it be leads.
Okay.
Leads or candidates is what we are thinking of. We need one more object for tracking the payments, and we need one more object for tracking the trainers. All right. Now tell me one thing. Who all feel that trainers and leads can be tracked under the same object? Anyone who feels that we can track both these things under the same object? We can have the same object for tracking both the things. Do we need two different objects, two different tables for tracking this information?
Yeah, according to the business requirement, we need.
Okay. So what is that business requirement thing? How will that help?
I mean, like, if we decided that, we will have it.
Okay. So I just want you guys to think about this, that is it a good idea to put these two things into different tables, or will it be a good idea to put both of them into the same table?
I feel they should be two different because
Why?
the fields are different, the purpose is also
So
different.
actually, if we are paying hourly, then it's better to have separation.
Yeah, even for Excel sheet, we need candidates in one column and, trainers in one column so that, we can understand who or what and, yeah.
But this is not an Excel sheet, right? So this is a database. So in database, what do we have to do? I mean,
We have columns, right?
I am pretty much okay with what we are talking about, that we should have two different tables, but I am just asking that can we have both of them in one table, and will that help us in a certain way?
It will help us for sure because most of the fields are similar. If you take 10 out of 10, most of them are similar. Just to avoid confusion, maybe we can have two separate.
Okay, very good.
But definitely we can have it in one because it avoids
Confusion.
repetition.
Oh, about the
But,
repetition. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
But for confusion and all, you can have separate.
Okay. So now this is the next level of complexity that you guys will get into. When you start designing database for your client, you will come across, this is just one situation, you will come across a lot of these situations where you have to deal with, scenario where you have data of the same kind being stored. Okay. And in these cases, you have a question in mind that should I put it in the same table or two different tables? For example, the same training company, they also do some promotional events. Okay, let's say 2-day seminar and all that stuff. So this company, they do certain some real campaigns also, right? Promotional event. They have they go to a college and then do the seminar. They invite people to come and attend those seminars. Anything, right? So for tracking those seminars and promotional events and training programs, do they need to have two different tables, or it can be tracked in the same thing?
Same thing.
But details will be different. Like your promotional event will not have a fee attached to it. It will not have an early bird price. It will not have an early bird cutoff date. Some fields will be different, right? So if we keep on creating multiple objects for different requirements, then problem will be that we will end up having too many objects. So this kind of requirements will be there, right? So the point is that we have something called a record type. Okay, we can use a record type to track these kind of information. So just think about another example. Think of something like a quicker.com. Have you heard of quicker.com? We have heard of quicker.com.
Yeah.
Quicker.com is they have buyers and they have sellers. They must be having some backend database of their own. Na? So they have a list of buyers and they have a list of sellers. Now what do you think, they track buyers and sellers in two different objects or in the same object? Because there is some other information tracked for buyer, there is some other information tracked for seller. So do they track both of them in the same table or two different tables?
Same table.
Yeah, so advantage, okay, let me also tell you that advantage of tracking both of them in the same table will be that someone who is a buyer, let's say Nikhil is a buyer today, he might become a seller tomorrow, right? So will we have a repetition of Nikhil's information in two different tables? No, right? Same thing. Someone who is a lead for me, someone who has attended a training from me today might turn out to be a trainer after a few days or maybe a couple of years. Got that thing? So if we try and track all these things in the both these in the same table, then our job will become a little more easier. Okay, so for tracking trainers also, we should have the same object, and for leads also I can have the same object. Alright, it makes my life a little more easier. To show you this thing, let me show you an example. In our standard sales app, the one which Salesforce has given, the other day I told you that the application which has been designed by Salesforce is pretty good. It's, they have put a lot of hard work into designing this application. So you have a field, you have an object called account, right? Account basically, is used for tracking the companies that I deal with, right? If you look into this, there is just a field called type. So this account, what do you think? They just track customers here? No. Look into this. Competitors, customers, integrators, investors, partners, prospects, resellers, everything is being tracked here in the type. So if there is a company which is a competitor, you need to track that competitor's information. That is also coming under this. Got it? Because most of the fields are same. Your investor company's details are here, partners details is also here, customer detail is also here, right? Same way, here lead or candidate is a customer and this is a partner. So why can't I have that sort of a setup? Got it? So this makes logical sense that club them into one table and have one field called type sort of thing, which can be,
Differentiate.
Yeah, which can be differentiating the trainer, attendee or candidate or whatever, student, and then you can have some other type of contacts also. Let's say there is someone who is organizer of the training program. Apart from trainers, we will also need to deal with certain organizers, right? Someone who organizes the training program, someone who takes care of the logistics. So we can have those options also there available. Got that thing? So this is one approach. The other approach is we start using something called a record type. Okay. So record type will also help, allow us to keep the data in the same table, but that allows us to have different set of data for different types. Got it? Let's say for trainer you want availability information, for candidate you want preference information, that sort of thing. Okay, so we can have that record type thing here, right? So are we clear on this so far? Does it look okay?
Then we have attendees, right? They have a candidate lookup. Then how does it take the
So
type?
here we'll put a filter, na? Here we'll put a filter. Only the attendees, only the people here who have a type as candidate, they should be put under attendees. We can put a filter here. While someone is selecting, he should only see candidate data. No trainer should be displayed there.
Okay, and can you please repeat what is record type again?
Yeah, so record type is basically when you have in the same object you have two or multiple types of data getting into it, right?
Okay.
Then you can use this concept of record type. Okay, so record type allows you to see, this is one way of distinguishing. You can just have a pick list. Okay, but if you want further segregation, that okay fine, this data is completely different from the other one, then we can use a record type. Okay, so that is one concept. We are going to talk about record type. This is again one very important thing. So we'll use the record type for the training programs, and we will use it for here also. Okay.
Okay.
So this is something that we will get into. Tomorrow we are going to meet, and we are going to discuss further on this. For today, I think
So
you guys can just give me 1 minute. Huh? So for today, I think you guys can focus a little more on it. Think of, if you can think of any other objects or fields or anything like that. And if you want, you can create your custom objects also for all these things. I am using all standard, but if you guys want, you can create your own custom objects also, and you don't have to use a standard one. Yeah, someone was asking a question.
so actually, can we remove the trainer's object?
Yeah, we will remove
So
it.
just in case of
We will remove it. I mean, remove as it from here, right?
yeah.
So we will not create it. I'll club this one and the leads thing. Fine, let it be here.
Okay.
And tomorrow, once we create that record type, then we'll club it into the leads only. Correct?
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right.
Maybe once we start doing, more clarity comes.
Yes. So for because you guys are new to it, I would suggest that try to create custom object for everything. Okay. Why I am talking about mapping it with standard object, because I want you to understand that concept also. If you guys want, you can create your custom object for each and everything. Later on, you can go and delete that. So right for now, you just create whatever you see here. After that, you can delete it and map it to the standard object.
Okay.
All right. So we are pretty much on track with our data model. We have decided on the data model. We have selected our standard objects which we are going to use, and we just have to go ahead and keep on putting functionalities on top of it, right? So it's just going to be interesting day by day. We are going to add functionalities, each and every functionality, and we will understand with this example how things are being put, right? Okay. All right, then I'll